I've been infected with restless whispers and cheats that manifested in words and the lies that you speak. I've been infected with restless whispers and cheats that manifested in words and the lies that you speak. I've been infected with restless whispers and cheats that manifested in words.
Good afternoon, happy weekend, and welcome to Mega Desk. So what happened is I had to go into my office in central London again, twice in 2 weeks when I haven't been for about a year. And I had a lot of stuff that I had to take home with me, so I got permission to take an Uber home, and I thought, while I'm here, I grabbed my external monitor and brought it back with me as well. So at this point, most of my office equipment is in my flat. Essentially, when you're working with social media and creating images and videos and all this kinds of stuff, I found that the more screens I have, the better. Anyway, I hope you're well. I'm currently waiting for a live stream to start with Tina Lee from Of Leather and Lace. She's this Instagrammer who shows like this amazing behind the scenes stuff of how she creates her content and how she optimizes for the Instagram algorithm. And then the rest of the weekend, I've got a few plans of things that I want to do. I've got some stuff because I want to try an ambitious baking thing because I don't bake. Let's just put that out there. I'm also in the beginning stages of thinking of buying a flat in London, which is scary, but I've got a little bit of admin that I want to do around that, so I guess we'll see.
First of all, I do want to say hello. My name is Tina. I have been spending the last 4 to 5 years building my personal online brand to what it is today. Do people still read blogs? It's too saturated on Instagram. Every year we ask that question.
Alright, okay, this is gonna go so wrong. When I say I'm not a baker, I'm really not a baker. Like, I'm not a bad cook at all, but when it comes to baking, even if I follow it literally exactly as it's written, I get it wrong. So I have the things down here that I think are the equivalent for this recipe. We shall see. It's not gonna look like that. Excellent. And crush them up with mashed potato. Yeah. Just thought of a better way to do this. Ziploc bag, rolling pin. By the way, if you can hear Aaron yelling, that is him playing D&D very loudly with his friends every weekend. Better. It's making the same noise. I don't know how big this is, but it's the only one we have. How big is this? Am I really off? Oh, I'm really off. Well, there's no way that that's going to be enough to cover the bottom, is there? But I do have a cupcake tin. Could I make mini cheesecakes? Swear to God, this always happens every time I bake. It's never easy. Hello! Oh, hello! We're on a break. Well, tutorial. It's not a tutorial, that is for sure. This is what I was meant to have. This is the solution to the problem. In the fridge. Where? Switching up the angle, 250 grams of cream cheese. This was another issue. I think this is cream cheese, but we call it soft cheese. I don't know. I can't. I have an apron. This was a gift from my parents several years ago. Now I feel official. I know what I'm doing! Gelatin. Okay, Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Sure, 5 minutes.
Oh no, where's the other gelatin? Ah. This is right. If you're a baker, can you tell me for next time whether or not I should or should not microwave gelatin? Thank you. Mine is stringy. This really doesn't look the same. We're looking considerably more lumpy than she is. Yeah, I guess that means don't microwave gelatin. This is literally liquid at this point, and this is mine. This bit can't go wrong. I didn't make the Oreos. It's been 3 hours, so they could be cheesecakes. You can technically also say that they're probably set, but they were already kind of set up at the moment. not gonna go well. Okay, well it's spinning. Oh! Oh! That worked. No way did this work. That's not the worst thing in the world. It exists. Here goes nothing, I guess.
Oh, that's nice.
I think it might have worked.
Bye. Very nice.
Yay! If you bake, I've put the link to this video in the description. Please make this and tag me on Twitter or Instagram or something with the finished result so that I can see like how it was actually meant to go. I've seen how it was meant to go, but I want to see if someone else can replicate it. I've done something wrong, but it still tastes nice. Rah. Rah. I spent all of this morning in bed, which is my habit to do on a Sunday. And then this afternoon, I've basically just been finishing the edit for the video that went live last week on this channel. Hope you enjoyed it. So now my task this afternoon is a bit of an admin one. This is my life in paperwork. So I'm going to sort through this and put this in order of what I need and don't need. But because this is quite a boring admin job, I thought that I would have a chat with you talking about purchasing flats in London. I've been renting in London for 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. And it recently got into my head, maybe I should start like looking into purchasing a flat. How much would that be? Would I be able to afford it? My best friend has bought her house. My sister has bought her house. So I know people who've gone through this process. So they've been really helpful with giving me advice and stuff. I always knew that it was going to be really expensive to buy here. So part of this was just an educational piece of, could I even afford to think about it? And the answer to that is, maybe. The main problem appears to be that I am a single person trying to find a flat that I can afford by myself. If I had a partner and we could go in together, it would be at this point a lot easier and more reasonably manageable. But as a single person buying in London, there are a couple of ways that you can afford to buy a flat. Obviously, the first one being a mortgage, which basically everyone has. And then in the UK, if you're a first-time buyer, you've got a Help to Buy loan, which I've been paying into, which basically means the government helps you out with an extra loan to cover the cost of a flat. You can borrow more if you're living in London because it's London and it's hella expensive, but that would ultimately mean having to pay even more back. So I'm a bit loath to, you know, max that out. So I've been looking into it. I've looked at areas that I could potentially purchase in. Basically nothing zones 1 till 3, maybe zone 4 at a stretch would be the first zone that I could move into and afford somewhere. But at the moment I found literally one flat development that I could possibly maybe purchase at. The problem is that I want to live in London, so it's not that there's anything wrong with the rest of the UK. I've lived in other places. So I went to Birmingham University and lived there for a number of years and it's quite nice there. I like London, and if I'm not in London, I would probably be abroad somewhere if I could. Do you think I still need this? This is a acceptance letter to get into a youth orchestra back in 2004. There are some really nice modern developments for housing, and that's the kind of thing that I'm into. I like super modern. I'm not a DIY person. I'm not a fixer-upper person. It's just not me. I'm not interested. But that seems to be the way that most people afford to buy a place in London. The kinds of places that I could get without the Help to Buy loan, because you can only use Help to Buy on a brand new property, what I could just do with just the mortgage are just like, I don't know, I think I'd rather rent forever. It did start a bit of a game though with finding out the areas where I'd like to live, what are the properties like. I'd like to play a game with you right now, okay? This picture right here, yes, here, okay, this picture here, how much do you think this property would cost? I'll give you a second. I won't ask you to write it in the comments because I'm about to tell you. Okay, this is how much it costs. This place. I don't think I've ever liked one colour this much. How about this place? There are a few photos. As I was going through the gallery, it was just kind of like an adventure. How much does this place cost? This much. The best one by far is, oh, okay, just take a look at this. Like, the fact that this person is even moving is kind of bizarre to me because they've clearly set this place up exactly the way that suits their very unique taste. Isn't it amazing? Is this not amazing? And then of course, you get to the mannequins in the garden, and at that point, you know you found a doozy. So how much does that cost, do you think? I can't afford this place. That is the problem that I'm facing. That's why I want a new build. All of these old builds, I mean, they're not all like those places. Those ones are just interesting. But yeah, it's just, wow. In my last video, I asked about your situation in your country, like your lockdown situation, how is the country dealing, all that kind of stuff. For this video, what's your housing situation like where you live? Like, do you own your own property? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Is it feasible for people in their 20s to purchase properties on their own where you live? Or is it just like completely out of the question unless you're wealthy or you've got someone else to go in with? I am not progressing at all with this sorting because I'm paying much more attention to my conversation about housing, which I'm finding quite interesting. So I'm gonna finish this off camera, and later on today, I think once Aaron has finally finished his second D&D game of the weekend, I'll be able to nab his attention long enough for us to watch some, I don't know, like Bondi Rescue or maybe a Marvel film on the projector this evening. So I'll get to see somebody this weekend.
Starting my temples. You're not filming already, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, great. It's not making any sound. Ooh.
This is totally like my comfort watching. This and Vicar of Dibley.
Vicar of Dibley?
Yeah, I've watched both of them and I just go, ooh.
Every
Oh no, this is what they told you was gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Why do they always spoil everything?
To the sweet times, you're gonna have to cut this out. Everything's gonna be alright in the summertime. Baby, in the summertime, that is where I'll be.
I can breathe, I can see, I can touch, I can feel, I can taste all the sugar sweetness in your